Let him think that way. Everybody that has stepped in the ring with me before has thought that way too. And 23 have tried, and 23 has failed. And he's going to be 24. Getting ready for my next fight. And I want to wish a happy 28th to my favorite prospect.
But if Zayas pulls this off, a star is born. He'll instantly become one of the top 5 or so.
With just days remaining before their highly anticipated showdown, Xander Zayas has fired a strong warning shot at Jaron Ennis, already referring to him as the next name on his list of victims. Meanwhile, in a recent interview, Ennis confidently declared himself the biggest moneymaker in the junior middleweight division, claiming that every fighter at 154 pounds stands to earn the most by facing him. According to Ennis, his name carries more weight than anyone else in the division. Filled with confidence, he insisted that regardless of who his rivals choose to fight, a clash with him is unavoidable sooner or later. Ennis made it clear that he sees himself as the division's top attraction and believes any fighter hoping to stay out of his path is only delaying the inevitable.
I'm really the cash cow at 154 for real. So these guys can fight this guy, fight that, fight that guy, but when they fight me, I'm the cash cow. They're gonna make the most money fighting me, and that's with anybody in the division. So they gotta see me. I got the biggest name, I got the hottest name. I'm the best fighter at 154.
Speaking about his upcoming clash, Jaron Ennis acknowledged that Xander Zayas presents a tougher challenge than Virgil Ortiz Jr. would have. He praised Zayas for his well-rounded skill set, versatility, and overall effectiveness inside the ring. According to Ennis, Zayas brings more dimensions to the table than Ortiz, making him a dangerous opponent and a legitimate unified champion. Rather than dismissing what Zayas has accomplished, Ennis gave credit to his rival's achievements and recognized the threat he poses. Even so, he remained fully confident in the outcome, predicting that when the fight is over, the championship belts will be leaving the arena with him and making the trip back to Philadelphia.
I think, like I said, Xander is a solid fighter. I think he got a little bit more tools than Ortiz, maybe. He could box a little better. But I don't know, I feel like Virgil is somewhat the better fighter, but
experience and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit more experience and things like that. But Xander, like I said, Xander not a bad fighter. He's a solid fighter. He unified champ. You can't take nothing away from him. But on fight night, them belts is coming back to Philadelphia straight like that. You know what I'm saying? Real rap. I'm about to be a 2-time unified weight division champ. I was already unified at 40, so I'm gonna do it at 54. And we're gonna collect the rest of the belts at 54, be undisputed at 50.
On the other side, Xander Zayas appears completely unfazed by anything Jaron Ennis has said. In fact, Zayas believes Ennis is making a major mistake by overlooking him and treating him as if he is not on the same level. Rather than taking offense, Zayas has embraced that mindset, pointing out that every opponent who underestimated him in the past ultimately paid the price. He reminded everyone that 23 fighters have already stepped into the ring trying to hand him a defeat, and all 23 walked away unsuccessful. With that track record in mind, Zayas boldly predicted that Ennis will become victim number 24. He made it clear that being labeled the underdog does not bother him in the slightest because he is fully convinced that when fight night arrives, he will prove the doubters wrong and emerge victorious.
In what way, you think?
In every way necessary, every way of the word. I feel like he feels that I'm not at his level. That might be his feeling, but that's good. Let him think that way. Everybody that has stepped in the ring with me before has thought that way too. And 23 have tried, and 23 has failed.
Furthermore, while discussing his strategy for the fight, Xander Zayas highlighted what he believes are key weaknesses in Jaron Ennis's game. Zayas pointed to Ennis's footwork and mobility, claiming that he can sometimes appear flat-footed and less agile than many observers believe. He also suggested that Ennis has shown signs of discomfort when opponents invest in body shots and consistently attack the midsection. According to Zayas, those are areas he intends to target once they share the ring. Confident in his preparation, Zayas stated that the fight itself will reveal whether his assessment is correct, expressing quiet confidence that his game plan will expose openings others have failed to capitalize on. He remained composed, but certain that the advantages he sees will become evident when the action begins on fight night.
In this fight for Boots Ennis?
Man, his feet, he's flat-footed. He's flat-footed, and body, he doesn't like the body that much. So we'll see how that.
Backing up his confidence with action, Xander Zayas has spent countless hours in the gym making sure his bold predictions are matched by his performance on fight night. Training footage regularly posted online shows him fine-tuning every aspect of his game, with particular attention being paid to his orthodox stance and positioning in preparation for an opponent with Jaron Boots Ennis' speed, movement, and athletic ability. Zayas has also dedicated weeks to intense sparring sessions designed to increase his punch volume, sharpen his timing, and build the stamina necessary to maintain a relentless pace over the course of the fight. By all indications, he is fully committed to entering the ring in peak condition and is determined to let his preparation speak louder than any pre-fight words once the opening bell sounds.
Ready for Jaron Boots Ennis, June 27th. Let's go. Puerto Rico, you got one. See, can he maintain unified champion status, or will it be the new?
Offering his assessment of the matchup, Shane Mosley admitted that Xander Zayas brings several real advantages into the fight, including his size, speed, and movement. According to Mosley, those attributes give the Puerto Rican champion a legitimate chance to pull off a victory and help explain why many fans are backing him heading into the showdown. Despite recognizing Zayas' strengths, however, Mosley ultimately sided with Jaron Boots Ennis. He argued that Ennis possesses one of the most complete skill sets in the division, with a level of versatility and adaptability that makes him extremely difficult to beat. Mosley also emphasized Ennis's growing experience, composure, and ring IQ, believing that his maturity as a fighter could prove to be a decisive factor when the two finally meet in the ring.
He has a good chance to win because he's bigger and he has a lot of speed and foot movement and stuff like that, but for me, I just think Boots has too many tools, man. And he's a little bit older and wiser, but he has too many tools. But you never know. I mean, Xander actually fights, so he must see something. Because this fight, if he beats Boots, it makes him one of the legendary fighters in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's a champion thing, but this fight will make him like, oh, okay, he was a beast.
Might put him in the pound for pound.
Yeah, put him in the pound for pound.
While discussing the strategy Xander Zayas has outlined in recent interviews, Shane Mosley suggested that the young champion may have identified a weakness in Jaron Boots Ennis' style. According to Mosley, Zayas appears to believe that Ennis can be frustrated by opponents who refuse to fight at his preferred pace and on his preferred terms. He explained that Zayas is likely planning to rely heavily on lateral movement and ring positioning, using his footwork to maintain distance and limit Ennis' opportunities to unleash his offense. Mosley noted that Zayas seems confident that constant movement will make it difficult for Ennis to cut off the ring, close the distance, and consistently land clean punches. In Mosley's view, this tactical approach is a central part of the game plan that Zayas and his team are counting on as they look to pull off a major victory.
In Boots, and I think that he sees that Boots is the one always going forward and aggressor, but maybe he can't fight somebody that's boxing him. And I think Xander sees that he moves his legs really good. It's gonna be hard for Boots to get to him. And I think that's what they're banking on. So I think exactly what you said, that he thinks he's gonna have more success when he moves around Boots, and Boots is not gonna be able to get close to him because he's bigger and taller. So
Likewise, showing his support for the younger fighter, Sean Zattel has publicly stated that he believes a victory for Xander Zayas over Jaron Boots Ennis will be the more beneficial outcome for the sport as a whole. His comments have sparked plenty of debate, drawing strong reactions from fans across social media. Zattel pointed to the notable age difference between the two fighters, emphasizing that Zayas will enter the ring nearly 6 years younger than Ennis. In his view, A win for the 23-year-old Puerto Rican star would instantly create a new leading figure in the sport and accelerate his rise to boxing superstardom. Zattel argued that such a result would inject fresh energy into the division while.
And talking about all his wonderful talent, I said, I actually think, and I know it's going to get a lot of people mad at me, and I was right, that Xander Zayas winning the fight would be better for boxing. Now, why did you say that, Sean? Well, let's get into why. Zayas is, on the night of the fight, going to be 5.5 years younger, I believe, than Jaron Ennis, who turns 29 the day before the fight, or the night of the fight. Zayas is 23 years old. And Zayas, if he wins this fight, a star is born on the spot. Now, Ennis can get there, and if he keeps winning, there's always I always say this.
Adding further to his comments, Sean Zattel emphasized that Xander Zayas would become an overnight phenomenon if he manages to defeat Jaron "Boots" Ennis, instantly elevating himself into one of the 5 most recognizable names in boxing. He argued that such a victory would dramatically shift Zayas's standing in the sport and accelerate his rise to elite-level stardom. Zattel also pointed to the long-standing desire among Puerto Rican fans for a new superstar to emerge, noting that supporters have spent nearly a decade waiting for a fighter capable of filling the void left by Miguel Cotto. In his view, a win in this high-profile matchup would position Zayas as that long-awaited successor, carrying similar cultural significance and drawing power to the legendary former champion. He concluded that pulling off this upset would completely transform Zayas' career trajectory overnight and redefine his future in the sport.
Picking right now Jaron Ennis by decision, but honestly, this is one I just want to see play out and see what we get. But yeah, I gotta give the edge to Ennis by decision right now. Maybe a knockdown along the way, 116, 111, something like that. But if Zayas pulls this off, a star is born. He'll instantly become one of the top 5 or so biggest stars in boxing. So that's my reasoning for it. It's a Puerto Rican fan base that's been waiting about a decade for their next Cotto, their next Trinidad. And I can't say Trinidad, but if he wins this.
Meanwhile, Robert Garcia has confirmed that he will be sitting ringside for the upcoming clash between Xander Zayas and Jaron "Boots" Ennis, saying he is genuinely excited to witness the matchup unfold. Garcia praised Zayas for his strong physical frame, natural power, and clear hunger to succeed, describing the bout as a highly competitive and closely contested affair. When asked to make a prediction, he ultimately leaned slightly toward Ennis to get the win. However, he was quick to stress that any victory for Ennis would not come easily. Garcia made it clear that Zayas has all the tools required to make the night extremely difficult for his opponent and could turn the fight into a real test from start to finish.
I'm going to be there. I already talked to Matchroom, and yes, I'm going to be there. It's a great fight. Can't wait. Xander Zayas looks big and strong, and he's got the heart. He's got the hunger. So I think it's going to be a very, very competitive fight. Look, I could probably predict.
As a veteran fighter and respected analyst, Roy Jones Jr. has acknowledged that Xander Zayas possesses legitimate skills and cannot be written off heading into this matchup. However, he also noted that Jaron "Boots" Ennis brings a wider range of subtle, hard-to-define qualities that often separate elite fighters from simply good ones. Jones credited Ennis's additional years in the professional ranks for helping those instincts develop and mature at a higher level. In his assessment, those intangible traits tilt the edge toward Ennis in what is expected to be a closely contested fight. Still, he emphasized that Zayas remains very much alive in the matchup with the ability to flip the script if he executes correctly on fight night.
Xander is pretty good. Intangible-wise, I don't know that he can do everything Boots can do because Boots does have a lot of intangibles that Boots can do. I've seen him do a few more because he's been around a bit longer than Xander. But Xander's got to know how to make the adjustments. So that being said, we'll have to see what happens. I don't know who will win the fight. The intangibles do lean toward Boots to me, but Xander's a hell of a fighter, a hell of a champion, and I've seen him in action up close when I had Slava fight him, and he gave Slava a pretty good, he made a good adjustment on Slava and came back and beat Slava, but Slava did hurt him early, but you never can tell. So does Boots have that kind of power? I think so, yes. Does Boots have boxing skills? I know that for a fact. So I think it's going to be.
However, Roy Jones Jr. also addressed the expected atmosphere surrounding the fight, particularly the strong support for Xander Zayas from the Puerto Rican crowd. He advised Jaron Boots Ennis not to be distracted by any perceived hostility or partisan energy inside the venue. Jones reminded that spectators do not step into the ring, land punches, or influence the judges' scorecards. In his view, crowd reactions cannot change the outcome of a fight or alter what happens between the ropes. He urged Ennis to stay focused, block out the noise, and concentrate entirely on the opponent in front of him rather than the energy coming from outside the ring.
Environment like that.
You don't need to worry about the crowd at all. The crowd ain't fighting. Only him and Xander fighting. It's not like they're going to have a gang against a gang. Nah, it's just you. You know what I'm saying? When I participated there, I love the Puerto Rican crowd, but I knew most of them will be cheering for Tito. That's cool. That's their man. What you expect them to do? So yeah, they're going to be cheering for Xander. That's cool. That's their man. What you expect them to do? But they're not fighting you. You're only going to fight him in that ring. You don't know about fighting nobody but him. That's why they got a referee, they got judges, they got security, and you ain't fighting one person. You know?
Echoing Roy Jones Jr.'s perspective, Chadikosin Johnson has also expressed respect for Xander Zayas, noting that he has followed several of his fights closely and has even visited his training camps on occasion. Despite that admiration, Johnson believes Zayas has not yet faced an opponent with the type of complete skill set that Jaron Boots Ennis brings into the ring. He pointed to Ennis's ability to switch stances seamlessly, operate effectively at both long and close range, and rely on superior athletic tools that are difficult to replicate in sparring. In Johnson's view, those attributes place Ennis on a different level in terms of natural ability and boxing IQ. He suggested that Ennis's speed and adaptability alone could present a serious threat across all 12 rounds, making him a significantly tougher challenge than anything Zayas has experienced so far.
You know, I've watched him fight many times. I've been to a few of his camps, but again, he's never seen anyone like you before. Based on his style of fighting, you've seen fighters that fight like him before. Your style is completely different. Obviously, being able to switch hits, fight from distance, fight in the pocket, fight at range, anything you want to do. Athletically, you're probably going to be, just being honest, athletically, and when it comes to ring IQ, you're probably going to be two or three steps ahead of him. Obviously, I think speed is going to be a problem for him as well. Which there's no one he can actually get in his camp to kind of mirror what it's going to look like fight night, you know, on the 20.
Keith Thurman has also given Xander Zayas credit for the accomplishments he has accumulated so far, acknowledging that public anticipation around him has grown significantly. However, he suggested that Zayas may have been better served by allowing that momentum to build even further before stepping into such a high-risk matchup. Thurman questioned whether Zayas has truly reached the stage where he is ready for the most demanding test of his career, implying that the timing of this challenge may not be ideal for him. In his view, this particular step up could come earlier than optimal, potentially placing Zayas in a situation where he is being tested before fully peaking as a fighter.
I just, been able to do what he did, and I know he's got a lot of hype right now. I think he should be riding that hype train a little bit longer, and not sure if he's ready for the toughest fight of his career.